All right, welcome back, YouTube. Today we got kind of a special episode. I've got this Tahoe in here, limited edition red is the code. And I've got two guns that I'm excited to put to use. And yeah, let's just get into it. All right, so these are both Devilbiss DV1s, new school and old school, all right? The new school, which is this galaxy looking one, is my base coat. The old school is this cool, like, it's got an old school painter guy on it. That's my clear coat. Both have 1.3s loaded. I'm gonna use my older DV1 for sealer on these two bumpers and for my little spot sealing. This has UV primer on it. So we'll go through and just get this job all sealed up, and then we'll get the spraying with these two beautiful new guns. If you guys know anything about Devilbiss DV1s, honestly, these are some of the best guns on the market for base coat, for clear coat. The clear coat version is going to be, it's more controlled. So if you're an Iwata user, you're probably going to like the DV1 clear. Sada, Segola guys, it's a huge change. Once you get used to it, the finishes that you can get off of it, you'll see on this, are phenomenal. So let's go ahead without further ado. I'm gonna go mix some sealer. We'll get in here and spray these covers up, get our spot sealer done. All right, so like I said, I'm gonna use my old DV1, which is this guy. This is just the classic DV1 base coat. I'm gonna use this for sealer. GS908 dark gray sealer on this job. I am first going to static gun this. I don't know if you guys see my Instagram video where I painted my lid. Thing came out slick. Yeah, let's just go ahead. I'm gonna blow this all off, tack rag it, remove all the static. If you guys are interested in these static guns, man, I'm telling you right now, the Ion Star is the only one I would spend any kind of money on. It actually puts out air versus all the other ones that just kind of piss it out. Really doesn't do you a lot of good. This one actually covers some ground. It works great. Because I use it like a blowgun, plus I can use it to remove static, so there's that benefit. See, now that I'm done, I just kind of half pull. You'll see the little LED, that little laser. That means it's actually removing all the static. Operates at like 30 to 50 PSI, I believe. You use it like a blowgun, use it like a static gun. It does both. I don't have these like really secured on here, they're just kind of set. All right, let's go. And like I said, guys, this is all UV primer. That's why it looks a little transparent, but I promise you, it has primer on it. I get it just right. You can see, I mean, I can blow off all of that. Nice. All right, these are ready to rock and roll. I'll go ahead and just jump into this. For sealer, I'm gonna probably go like 16 to 17 PSI. Yeah, let's go 17. Feels good. And I'm not gonna talk through this, I'm gonna just seal these up. When we get to this, I'll show you a little trick on how to melt a sealer edge and just make everything look nice. But let me get these covers sealed up. those are all sealed. So for spot sealing, guys, here's the trick. Drop your pressure just a wee bit. So instead of 17, I'm gonna go like 14. And I'm gonna aim away from the end of my blends. Obviously, I'm getting close here, but my color match is good. I'm not stressed about it. But I'm gonna keep all of this as small as I possibly can. And then any of that overspray, I'll show you a neat little trick. Forget all of those like rattle can, blender bomb things. You don't need that crap. This works way better. I'll show you in just a second. So let me get these sealed. Okay. So there's that. All right, so now that your sealer's on there and your spot sealed, take a minigun with a slow reducer, all right? That's all that's in this. Whatever reducers that you would use for your sealer is what you want to load up in this. Now, you're not going for like wetting this out, okay? You're just looking to melt, just like you would with a can, but just spray it over the edge. Just like that. This works with epoxy as well if you're using that as a sealer. But all it's going to do, this will evaporate a heck of a lot slower than those spray can blenders, and it doesn't react with the edge because this is a reducer that's compliant with this product. So it's going to slowly melt this edge. So then when I get base coat on it, I'm not gonna have like a rough edge where my sealer overspray landed. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Just spray it, just like that. And you can spray a little bit at the back if you think there's some overspray there. It'll just smooth it all out. And I know a lot of guys will get in the comments and they always do, oh, this doesn't work, it doesn't work. Don't pound it on there, it works perfect. You can see this is like a light mist. A light mist. You do not want to wet this out. That's not the whole goal. You just need enough to smooth that edge out. And I don't know if you guys can see on the GoPro, but all this little overspray right here is all smooth now. I don't have to worry about any edges. So that's my little tech tip, and I've got that. It's a Devilbiss day. I've just got this in an SRI Pro with a 1.0. I pretty much leave this in the booth all the time. It's kind of my little blender melting gun, and it works great. All right, that's the first step. I'm gonna go ahead and go clean this gun, and I'm gonna go mix up. I've got to mix up a ton of paint because I got to do 2 covers. So maybe like 25 ounces. Shoot, maybe even 28. We'll start with 25. If I've got to mix a little bit more, that's all right, I'll do that. But yeah, all of our sealer looks really good. I'll hit the flash cycle and we'll get some beautiful red sprayed with that DV1 New School. All right, guys, so all of our sealer is now dry to the touch. So what that means is it's New School time. And as you see, I did put my Luma 3 light on. This is my OG Luma Aurora 2. You can see it just lights up. This is kind of a transparent color. So, I mean, any little bit to guarantee that I don't have to redo this, I'll take it. So yeah, shout out to the Luma boys, Chris and Kirk. Awesome, awesome guys. I've had this dang thing for like 6 years now. I've used and abused it, and it's still working fantastic. So I can attest that these do in fact work great, and they last. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and get into base coat. If you guys pick up any of these DV1s and they're a digital like this, your pressures are going to be lower, okay? So according to this digital gauge, I'm gonna spray this base coat at 14 PSI. I'll control coat at 10 PSI, according to this gauge. When you put like a cheater gauge on the bottom, if you buy a non-digital, that's about 20 PSI and about 14 for control. I don't know why they read different, they just do. I know a lot of guys when these first came out and they got the digital version, were really getting frustrated because they're trying to spray it at 25 and it's just not spraying right. They're designed to use a little bit less pressure, right? So you'll see how smooth all this stuff comes out. But I'm not gonna talk all the way through this video. I'm gonna just do all my coats. I'm gonna start with my blends over here. I'll get these covered and then I'll get a coat on the bumpers, and then we'll come back over here. We'll just jump through this job. It's gonna go fairly easy. Oh yeah, check out these, I think these are 32 ounce PPS, the vented version. If you spray water, these vented ones are great. If you spray solvent, the reducers will make this leak, just a heads up. But for waterborne, these are fantastic. Plus, I could fit a ton of paint in there, so. All right, anyway, with enough talking, let's get to spraying. See, and I could see every bit of coverage, so I know if I missed a spot or not. That's why these are freaking awesome. Love it. All right, so there's my first coverage coat on all this stuff. Now let's go ahead and do these bumpers. There's a little tricky spot. I always see that spot missed. Not today. That is before I miss them. All right, and we'll get the front bumper. Get my hose figured out here. It's getting kind of tight, especially with this pack on. My little fresh air setup. Makes me kind of got to shuffle around in here. So hopefully you guys were able to see how much this actually makes a difference. I know on GoPro it's going to be kind of hard, but I could see in all these cracks and crevices as I'm spraying, so that's kind of a neat little benefit. And I can see my coverage, and I can see that everything is covering extremely well. You did notice I haven't used blender on this hood yet, and I'm going to right now. I usually would do a coat of blender on it and then blend my base out. What I found lately that's been working good for me is I'll do my first coverage coats and then I'll cover the blend area in blender, and it kind of just buries any kind of overspray that has gone on thus far. And it typically works out good. At least then I can see what's going on. In reality, I'm looking at this. I don't think I'm actually going to use any because it's blending out beautiful. I don't know if you guys can see. I'm not really worried about it. What I'll probably do instead for like the little bit of overspray is I'll just come through. See that little bit? Before I clear coat this, I'll just wipe her down and get any of that little dust off, and then we'll be okay. But that's the main reason why I like to use blender, is any of that dusty overspray that's on there, it just buries it, locks it down, so I don't have like seeding. Seeding is what they call it, which is you'll clear something and then it'll look like dust or sand in your blend area. So yeah, that's typically what I use blender for. It does gloss the surface up so I can see, but I can see that this one's blending out really, really beautiful, so I'm not too concerned about it. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead, I'll grab my little air blower, I'll force dry this. You can see this cover's already almost dry. It's not gonna take much to finish drying it. Here's a little pro tip. I always keep a tack rag in my hand at all times, simply because I like to tack off the gun. I like to just tack off the hose. Anything that I'm touching, I'll tack. Just makes for cleaner work, less buffing. Anything to avoid buffing, I'm down with. And I will warn you guys, once this is clear coated, this thing does have some hail dents. It does have chips here and there. It just is what it is. It's not accident related, so I can't fix it for free, unfortunately, but we'll make it look as good as it can and bring it back to pre-accident condition, you know what I mean? I know everybody's always like, oh, why don't you fix the chips? Why don't you fix this, fix that? It just, sometimes, man, it's just not a part of the deal. I don't know if you guys can see this front edge. I mean, it's littered with chips. Kind of is what it is. Let's get our second coat. This isn't like PBG. I don't have to fully dehydrate this. Between coats, I could just stack them if I want to. On blends, I like to dehydrate them. These, I won't worry about it. I'll just get my coverage coat on there, and then we'll turn a flash cycle on and get it to dry. Then I'll control coat it and we're done. But yeah, let's go ahead and finish out this blend. Like I said, we're getting close to that. It is what it is. This color match is fantastic, so I'm worried about it zero. It'll be just fine. I know some guys be freaking out. Oh, you need to blend that, you need to blend that. This Tahoe has over 100,000 miles. I am not concerned with that. It'll be okay. I think I'm gonna have just enough paint for my coverage coats. Cutting her close, I can feel it. See what happens. Oh, those are covered. As you guys could probably tell, this is not my first rodeo with the DV1. I have owned the DV1 since it came out, and it's hands down one of the best options for base. Like it just lays everything down easy. Silvers, these reds, pearl blues, grays, anything. The DV1 will do it all. But that's our coverage coats done. I'm gonna go mix up probably about 6 more ounces. I just need a little bit more to do our control coats. I might, yeah, maybe like 4 more ounces. I don't need a lot, but everything is covered. Okay, so once this fully dehydrates, which I'm gonna go turn the heat up, the flash cycle on, get it dry, and then we'll control coat it, and that's base done. Then we could jump into that old school clear coat gun. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and control coat this. It's all dry, all good to go. What I'm going to do here, what I did as far as making more base, I had about 4 ounces left. I used clear base coat binder, so 90/20 and 9K. Added some of that, a little bit more reducer just to stretch it, because all I'm doing is a control coat on these 2 covers in my blends. So that, it'll make it a little bit more transparent, but that's fine because all I'm doing is just setting all my pearls and metallics. Like I said, for my control coat, I don't know if you guys could see that, 10 PSI, that's all I need. Let's just go ahead, slowly control coat all this out, finish our blends off. Then we'll let this sit for the full 15 minutes in a flash cycle so this red can really dry, and then we'll clear it. Suppose I have enough to get in here. It's not real detrimental inside here to not control coat it. But I got enough, so we're good. As you can see, all this color laid out silky smooth. I mean, it's a DV1. These are just, they're the king of silky smooth base coat. I'm not even kidding. Like, it's really hard to mess up spraying base coat with these guns. So if you're fighting, say you're fighting silvers, they're just super modelly, try a DV1. It's like a magic ticket for that kind of thing, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna let this go ahead and sit for 15 minutes, and then we'll chuck some clear coat in that DV1 clear, and we'll see what's shaking. All right, guys, like I said, I need to tack rag this hood. So I'm gonna just lightly Tack it off as far as I can reach. See all of that little overspray that I'm removing. Okay, that's what I want to get off. And I mean the weight of my hand, that's all I'm doing. And that's taking off that much, it's crazy. Bam, all right, so we're ready to go ahead and spray some clear coat. And the way that I have this DV1 clear, I know in the past, I've been kind of critical of this gun. With DC 5020, the dimension clear that I was spraying, this and that didn't mix the greatest. I was also trying to move a heck of a lot of cars very quickly. This is extremely comparable to an Iwata in terms of speed. It's not a speed demon. It's very controlled. You get very fine finishes out of it. That's the aim with this. I want this job to just slick out nice, just be beautiful, right? So I've got the DV1 C2 Plus air cap with a 1.3 nozzle in it. So that'll give me enough. If you need it a little bit faster, you can go 1.4, a little bit more fluid. But the C2 cap definitely helps me to move a lot quicker versus the C1, the original cap that came on the first version I ever tried. The C1 just isn't for me. It's too slow. The C2 fixes a lot of those problems. So the way I'm gonna spray this, I've got it wide open, full fan, full fluid, 19 PSI, okay? That's what we're gonna stick with, 19. I talked to my buddy, the Gunman, and Josh Refinish, and that was pretty much the direction they told me to go, is about 19 to 20, and you'll just feel it out. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna do this whole front clip, and yeah, you'll see how it goes. Also, we'll give you a little behind the scenes on how reels are made. Got this little nifty tripod here I keep in the corner of the booth. We'll set this up, my phone fits right on it. Oh. Just like that, make sure the lens is clean. And we'll just get this all set up. So if you see this on Instagram Reels or Facebook, you know how it was made. And I'll just let that run and record while I spray. But let's go ahead, I'm gonna move this little stand to this side. I don't know how far I'm gonna be able to reach just by hand, so I need this, need this little platform. I'm gonna try to be very, very careful because I'm gonna clear up and over. So I'm gonna start here and then work until I can't reach, pull this in, try to get to the middle, bring it around. It's just gonna be a dance. But that's all right. That's what we do. You know what I mean? Let's get it. That's about as far as I can reach. Time to pull this guy in. This is where we be extremely careful. Extremely careful. You see the center of this hood is right there. I just don't want to have a dry spot in the center. That's the biggest pain in the butt. Okay. We're gonna switch hoses here. Rub around. Pick it up where we left off. Make sure we're at proper pressure. There's 19. And let's go. Get this out of the way. Alright, that's the first coat on that. Alright, let's get these bumpers in a coat of clear. Same thing, guys, 19 PSI, no different. You can see the C2 cap definitely speeds this thing up. There's a far better gun with this air cap on it, in my opinion, but finish this thing's laying down, but my God, it is beautiful. It just flicks this stuff out, Woo! Now that was awesome. Coat on this other bumper. That's the first coat of clear, guys. I'll bring you guys in after my second coat. I'm gonna go ahead and just hose it up, get her done. We'll kind of go through what I think about this DV1 clear coat. Now that I've actually gave it a fair shot, I think you guys would be kind of surprised. All right, guys, so that is 2 coats with the DV1 old school. This is the old school clear coat version. This is slick. This is super slick. Yeah, I mean, with the C2 air cap, dude, this thing slaps. It looks so good in here. Let me show you. All right, so here is all the blends. I don't know if you guys could tell on the GoPro all the rock chips, but it just came out so nice. These bumper covers look phenomenal. I'm super duper impressed with how well the C2 improves this gun, because it just, like I said, the C2 air cap 1.3 plays amazingly well with this CC250 clear coat that I'm using. But yeah, today was kind of a short video. If you guys are interested in these, I'll try to find some links to add in the description for these. But thank you to Devilbiss for sending me these out to kind of play with and make some videos with. I'm super happy with them. If you guys enjoyed this video, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It really helps the channel. If you guys want to find me on social media, it's at OlioLiPaints across all platforms. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, obviously here on YouTube, as well as Facebook. There's also links in the description. It's my link tree. It's various tools and spray guns and stuff like that. I'll throw links on there from time to time. So if you guys are interested in something that you see on this channel, it's probably going to be found in that link tree. So definitely check that out. And until next time, thank you for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you later.